Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome to the Reaver Common Sense, making sense out of the senseless right here on SHR Media, conservative media done right, where we rip the mask off the media machine, torching the talking points and shine a floodlight on the truth. No matter how uncomfortable it makes the establishment. You're listening to SHR Media, where conservative media doesn't bow, doesn't bend, and damn sure we don't fucking apologize. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and tonight's show is not for the faint of heart. If you're tired of being gaslit, silenced, or lied to, then you come to the right place. This isn't just another political commentary show. This is where truth gets weaponized and served hot. Good evening, The Wanderer. Good evening, The Phantom. We've got stories tonight that corrupt press will bury faster than a Hunter Biden laptop. From rising anti-Semitic attacks fueled by the left's own rhetoric to an illegal alien linked to domestic terrorism. To government officials accused of shielding rioters, it's all connected. A web of rot that starts at the top. And let me tell you, the hypocrisy is at DEFCON 1. The same media that tried to cancel Elon Musk for a gesture is dead silent when Cory Booker does the exact same thing. The same politicians who scream about borders are the ones losing control of their own. And the same elites who can call for tolerance are enabling a new wave of anti-Jewish hate right here in America. Tonight, we're tearing through the spin, no fluff, no filter, just facts, fire, and fearless commentary. So if you're ready to clear the smoke and cut through the static, strap in. This is the Reaver Common Sense, and we're just getting started. How was everybody's weekend? Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. We're going to be jumping around a little bit tonight. This I found right before coming on air, and it isn't so much the content as it is the video from, hold on one second, CNN. The guy loses his mind. And there's major struggles continue to hamper a Democrat Party that is still reeling from its November shellacking, according to the latest CNN SSRS poll. The poll, published Sunday, spells significant problems for the Democrat Party on a number of fronts, beginning with middle-class voters. And you're going to see more of this in the video when the commentator goes over it, and it'll probably make more sense once it's shown on the screen. But among the registered voters sampled in the poll, 35% think Republicans are the party of the middle class. Now, that's low, but while 35% believe Democrats are the party of the middle class, for a long time, Democrats were always thought the party of the middle class, and now the Republicans are tied. And another 29% say neither party represents the interests of the middle class. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring in a little video here. And this is, watch the guy on the right. The screen right. Watch him and how he acts. All right.
After all of the waves, Kate Baldwin, after the last few months, the first 5 months of the Donald Trump presidency, right, the first 4 months of the Donald Trump presidency, that you expect that Democrats would have this massive lead on the economy. It ain't so. It ain't so. The party that is closest to your economic views, in November of 2023, it was the Republicans by 11 points. Now it's still within that range, still within that margin of error. Plus 8-point advantage for the Republican Party. How is that possible, Democrats? How is that possible after all the recession fears, after the stock market's been doing all of this, after all the tariffs that Americans are against, and Republicans still hold an 8-point lead on the economy?
I mean, the spin that he had to try to give about what Trump's economy is. The economy is doing great. None of the predictions happen. Yes, groceries went up for a little bit. A lot of that was fear from this fear mongering that the left's been doing, caused these companies to elevate their prices without knowing what was actually going to happen. And it's still, I mean, he's freaking out. The jumping up and what? I found it so funny.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
This is new CNN polling.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
When we look for trends, how is that trending with other data that you're pulling in?
Yeah, if it was just this one CNN poll, that would be one thing. But take a look at Reuters Ipsos. What do we see here? Party with a better economic plan. Well, in May of 2024, just before Donald Trump was reelected president, Republicans had a 9-point advantage. Look at where we are now in May of 2025. The advantage actually went up by 3 points. Now Republicans have a 12-point advantage when it comes to the party with a better economic plan. And again, this is after months of supposed economic uncertainty in which the stock market's been going bonkers, in which the tariff wars that Americans are against have been going on. And yet, despite all of that, the Democrats are down by...
Now, every poll I've seen, the Americans aren't exactly against the tariffs. We understand by a large percentage this needs to be done to correct the issues that have been plaguing our country for the last couple of decades since Bill Clinton. We need to correct this issue, and yes, there will be a little heartache. Things are leveling out, and everything's looking great. Our economy's looking great. Inflation, prices, fuel. I don't know what world this idiot lives in, but it's not reality.
12 points on the economy. This speaks to Democratic problems on the economy better than basically anything that you could possibly look at. The Republicans still hold an advantage on the all-important key issue of the day, and that is the reason why, even if Donald Trump's approval ratings are a little bit lower than they used to be, Republicans are not out of the ballgame.
Now, Trump's numbers have been going up. His double of what the Democrat Party approval rating is. So sitting there pointing out Trump's bad ratings is very hypocritical and not giving the full information. And I should have. I didn't think of it till just now, but Schumer was out there mocking Trump for having bad polling numbers. And a reporter said, well, you guys are worse off. Well, polls don't mean anything. He's out there bashing Trump about his polls. And then when it gets pointed out, they're doing worse. Polls don't mean anything. These people.
Because they still have a clear advantage on the economy, whether you look at CNN's polls or whether you look at the Ipsos poll right here, in which they have a 12-point advantage on the economy, Kate.
And also in the CNN data, it does show that Republicans are gaining ground in an area that is key relating to all of this, which is when it comes to the middle class.
Yeah. You know, historically speaking, which is the party of the middle class has been a huge advantage for Democrats. I have polling from NBC going all the way back since 1989 when Democrats had a 23-point advantage. 2016, a 17-point advantage. But by this decade, we already started seeing declines back in 2022 where you saw that Democrats led, but only by 4 points, well within the margin of error. And now in our latest CNN poll among registered voters, which is the party of the middle class, it is tied. This, I think, speaks to Democratic ills more than anything else. They have traditionally been the party of the middle class. No more. Donald Trump and the Republican Party have taken that mantle away, and now a key advantage for Democrats historically has gone adios amigos, and now there is no party that is the party of the middle class. Republicans have completely closed the gap, Kate.
All right. There's a lot of messages and a lot to be learned from these numbers and this data. It's good to see you, Harry.
Nice
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much.
And my question to my audience, do you think a single Democrat will learn anything from those numbers? Will they learn anything from that information? Or will they just sit there and scream about, well, racism, sexism, transgenderism, and all the other isms and aces? And they have not learned. They're paying, what, $20 million on a study of how to talk to adult or young adult males to get them back voting for Democrat. How about this? Instead of trying to learn how to talk to them, just talk to them. Show them Don't tell them. Show them the policies that you're putting forth that will make their life better. How they will be able to afford a house. How they will be able to afford kids. Don't give them this rhetoric bullshit about billionaires and paying fair share, because that's all it is. You guys have beat that dead dog down. And it's the same rhetoric over and over and over again. You keep going to the well. You went to it too many times, and it's not just because of X. X is a large portion, but you've gone to the same excuses time and time again. What do you think's going to happen? That's how bad, or that's how much Democrats, that's how stupid they think you are, that they'll keep going and using the same excuse. Well, it worked 20 years ago. It'll work now. It hasn't worked in a long time, but, you know, they're stupid enough. They'll buy it. And it just keeps going over and over again, people. Sorry, I'm bopping around taking a look at some stuff. Don't forget, you can catch the show on X, YouTube. And if you want to join the conversation, jump into YouTube, join in the chat. Hang on, check. For some reason, I'll have to get on the assistant here. It doesn't appear that the feed's up on SHR Media. Oh, no. But if you go to YouTube, Facebook, X, where else? Total brain fart. Twitch. And we're looking into some new ones. And if you want to catch the show on replay, you can catch it on all your podcast download sites from Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just about everywhere. Amazon. All right. And now let's kick this off with the lies being served straight from the top of the Democrat leadership. This time courtesy, again, of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Jeffries recently claimed that Donald Trump wrecked the economy and that Republicans are trying to gut Medicaid. But here's the problem. None of it's true. It's the same tired fear-mongering. Okay. Sorry, my screen just went a little wonky on one of the other computers. I'm like, what the? It's the same fear-mongering. And it's designed to rile up the base and hide the left's own failures. Yes, they're failures. They have nothing. They destroyed our economy. They destroyed our economy. Inflation through the roof. Cost of living. Fuel. Everything was sky high under the Democrats. But now, Republicans are actually trying to do some stuff. Not at the speed I'd like them to do it. Not everything I'd like to do, but they're getting some stuff done and the ball's rolling. And this shows you how bad the Democrats are and how good this bill is. Think of how much they're fighting it. How much they're out there banging that drum, trying to be the loudest voice out there. Why? Because they know if it passes, they're fucked. They know they're fucked. Because it's going to give a tax break to the middle class. It's going to put more money in our pockets. It's going to alleviate some of the debt of this country. It's going to help secure the border. It's going to hold people accountable. But the Democrats have to go out there and lie. Under Trump, we saw record low unemployment, a booming stock market, energy independence, and real wage growth for working Americans. Compare that to the Biden's economy. Crippled supply chains, skyrocket inflation, and job numbers so manipulated that make Enron jealous. And on Medicaid, Jeffries is painting the Republicans as heartless monsters who want to throw grandma off a cliff. But the truth is, GOP proposal focuses on tightening eligibility, stopping waste, not denying care, removing those not eligible, those that are eligible to work and able to work, and those who refuse to fill out certain verification forms. That's where the Democrats get their numbers from, their inflated numbers. From those three categories alone. That's who will lose Medicaid. But we didn't hear anything in Biden's administration when Biden cut benefits to Social Security, increase cost of Social Security health benefits for our elderly. No one bitched about that. That went under the radar. Mainstream media didn't touch on that when Biden actually cut Medicare. The Democrats actually cut Medicare. But now that it's coming to illegal immigrants being denied access to programs they are not eligible for and being removed because they were illegally placed on them, the Democrats are up in arms. Because are illegals going to want to flood this country if they're not getting the freebies? No, they're not. We cut the jobs off from them, and we're seeing that. We have down here in Florida, I think it was the Florida State University, a contractor was building housing. They just hit them and arrested 100 illegal immigrants on the construction site. And the Democrats and liberal want us crying over this guy because he may not be able to finish the housing on time. Well, why was he hiring illegal immigrants in the first place? Because I bet you, dollars to donuts, he was charging Florida State University an exorbitant amount of money on labor, but he wasn't paying that fair share to those workers. And the Democrats are already out there screaming fair wages for fair days of work. Except when it comes to illegal immigrants. You want to continue that flow so these employers make more money while ripping people off and endangering these workers. And you want me to worry whether he's going to be able to finish on time? That man the owner better worry about one thing, because they are now investigating his company for hiring so many illegal immigrants. How did he do that? How did that go under the radar in his company? But Mr. Jeffries here only wants to focus on, these falsehoods about Republicans. It's been debunked multiple times. He went out there and was screaming that, no, illegals are getting federal subsidies. Yeah, they have been. He knows it, and everybody else in this country knows it, whether they want to admit it or not. And I hear, what about your empathy? What about the empathy for the Americans, where we're paying all these taxes and Americans aren't getting the benefits of it? Between our money being sent overseas and used for people who illegally entered. And then I get to hear, well, how does that hurt you? How does that hurt anybody? Ask Lake and Riley family. Ask the families out in Colorado right now how illegal immigrants hurt them.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver Common Sense right here on SHR Media. Conservative media done right. We're here to make sense out of the senseless. Now, this next segment we're going to do and talk about is going to link in with the segment afterwards because it's actually interlinked with it. And we're going to talk about another classic example of media malpractice, this time courtesy of CNN and the BBC. These two supposed journalistic institutions, and I say that very loosely, ran with a story claiming that Israel forces killed Palestinians at an aid site, basing on nothing more than unverified claims and third-party sources. No hard evidence, no confirmed facts, just raw accusations that fit the anti-Israel narrative. And they pounced on it like it was gospel. Now, ask yourself this. How often do these outlets rush to correct themselves when it turns out the story doesn't add up? Spoiler alert, not often. And when they do it, it's so quiet and so tiny. It's like in the middle of the newspaper or at the end of a broadcast. Because it's not about truth. It's about pushing a narrative, pushing a message that paints Israel as the aggressor and conveniently aligns with the left's obsession with moral equivalence between terrorists and sovereign nations trying to defend themselves. Think about that. They're constantly backing the wrong side of history between the Democrats and the media. The attack on Israel on October 7th is unspeakable. But you never hear them calling it out. They're constantly trying to make up shit on Israel and accuse Israel of falsehoods. Has there been citizens, children, women killed in this war? Unfortunately, yes. I think it's called the fog of war. It happens. I wish it didn't. I wish Hamas would have never started this. They did not attack military bases. They did not attack the Israel military. They went into civilian areas. Murdered, raped, tortured people, took them hostages. They're still holding hostages. If they would have released hostages by now, a lot of this shit wouldn't be happening. No one talks about that. No one. So let's be clear. Spreading unconfirmed allegations during ongoing conflict is not just irresponsible, it's dangerous. And we've seen it twice now in the United States alone. As the Democrat Party has helped cover up those incidents, help blow them off, help deflect blame, and instead of blaming who needs to be blamed. It is the same thing over and over and over again with the Democrat Party. A shooting happens. They blame the gun. They never blame the shooter. The true cause of the issue. The shooter. Hamas started all this. They blame Israel. It's absolutely sickening. And it fuels anti-Semitism. It emboldens anti-Israel extremists. And it sets the global stage for more violence, more division, and more lies. We need to do something in this country because that is not journalism. That is not press. And they should not be allowed to keep running. I understand you will get things wrong. I get things wrong. But I'll come out and say it. I'll admit when I'm wrong. They don't. They keep pushing falsehood after falsehood after falsehood. And then point the fingers to everybody else. Let's look at Jake Tapper. When it comes to Biden, he went after Laura Trump and anybody that spoke out. The mainstream media went after anybody that spoke out about Biden's mental ability. And now, instead of taking responsibility for the cover-up that they did, they point their fingers. And we've seen this story before. Headlines blaming Israel for bombings that turn out to be misfires from Hamas or false flags from radical groups. How many times has Hamas got caught faking videos, staging videos, not allowing civilians to leave the area that Israel has given fair warning? How many times has Hamas hid behind civilians, which is against the Geneva Convention, and the UN and everybody sits on their fucking hands and does nothing about it? But by the time the truth comes out, good evening, Biggie. Glad you're here, buddy. By the time the truth comes out, the damage is already done. The lie has traveled the world, while the retraction, if it ever comes, is buried on page 12. We've dug into who benefits from these distorted headlines and why the mainstream media keeps falling for it or intentionally pushing it. Propaganda that puts Jewish lives at risk because it makes mainstream money or media money. That's why. Why else would they keep reporting and fanning the flames of hatred and conflict? Because they need something to report. So they create it. If they cared about the truth, they'd wait for the facts. But the goal is to inflame emotions and score ideological points. Accuracy becomes optional. And we've seen it just the other week when 2 Jewish embassy workers were shot and killed, murdered in cold blood. What was the shooter screaming? Free Palestine. And now what do we have? The media malpractice to something even more disturbing. Terror on our own soil once again, tied to our broken immigration system. There was a terrorist attack that happened in Boulder, Colorado yesterday. A gentleman set people on fire, throwing Molotov cocktails, some kind of homemade flamethrower. I've heard different reports on what it was. But what came out about this gentleman was scary. He is an illegal alien who is admitted to the United States under the Biden administration. Let that sink in. A man who should never have been here in the first place is now being investigated for carrying out what the FBI is calling a targeted hate attack against the Jewish community. The attack left the community shaken and grieving, and now we find out that it could have been prevented. He had been planning this attack for over a year now. He waited till his daughter graduated for him to commit these acts. His visa expired. He was told to deport. If the federal government had done its job, a lot of those people would not be severely injured, and that one person so far that's passed away would still be alive. And think about who was targeted in this attack. Elderly. I believe they were like 65 and above. And they were having a get-together, a protest, if you want to call it, for the release of hostages. Peaceful. Peacefully they were. So this guy stepped in and unleashes. And it comes down to, I'm not sure on Colorado's gun laws. If someone, one person, simply was carrying, that whole incident could have ended real quick. Real quick. This is the predictable consequences of an open border agenda. It's not compassionate. It's catastrophic. And the victims aren't just statistics. They're real people, targeted because of who they are by someone who never should have been allowed in this country. We'll go over what we know about the suspect, the FBI's classification of the event as a hate-fueled act of terrorism, and how Democrat policies continue to put American lives and values in jeopardy. And I see all these Democrats out there, you know, praying, and oh, this can't be happening in our country. You fueled this. You empowered these people. You allowed this hate to be bred in this country. It's kind of funny when you start looking at the history of the Democratic Party and all the hate that they have shaped molded and allowed, helped create. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry about that. Had to move around a little bit. Last couple of days, we've had some storms coming into Florida, which is normal. But, oh, man, it's that painful when they happen. It's unacceptable that this man, Mohammed Sabri Suleiman, an Egyptian national in the United States illegally. And I got to ask, well, what does it hurt when people overstay their visas? It doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah, seems like it hurts people. They even killed one. And actually, it's killed more than that. How many stories are we hearing? How many preventable murders are we hearing in this country? And that's the thing. These illegal immigrants that are here illegally could have been... I hate when the mic's all crooked. All these murders that have happened could have been prevented if the Biden administration had secured the border. And not the rhetoric that they gave us that, oh, if they just, they got to pass new laws. No, you just had to enforce the ones you have. Think about how many more would be out if the Democrats would just stop interfering, obstructing, and trying to protect illegal immigrants, because this is exactly who they're protecting. Think about it. They went to El Salvador to fight for Maher, an accused wife beater, a known gang member, admitted to, because in his court filings for deportation, why he couldn't go back to El Salvador is because he feared a rival gang was going to kill him. Now, simple question, and it answers everything. How do you have a rival gang? You have to be in a gang to have a rival gang to come after you. It's not like, oh, I'm a law-abiding citizen and I got a rival gang coming after me. No, you would have gang members coming after you for something. But it was, I have a rival gang that will kill me. That's why he couldn't go back to El Salvador. And that is who the Democrat Party protects. A wife beater? A gang member? A lot of evidence pointing that he was trafficking humans for sex, which means mostly he was trafficking women, which Democrat Party has turned their back on wholeheartedly. The only way I think the Democrat Party has any female support anymore is because of the whole misconception of reproductive rights. Because I'm sorry, murdering is not reproductive. It's subtraction. It's, I don't know. And the Democrat Party's ratings continue to go down.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this, you rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic women who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joan, here to make sense out of the senseless, right here on SHRmedia.com. Conservative media done right. All right, this is the last segment of the show. We're going to bring in a video. It's mind-boggling to me. But you remember when Elon Musk was dragged through the mud just a few months ago, labeled a Nazi, demonized by the media for what they called a Nazi salute? The outrage was instant. Headlines exploded. Celebrities weighed in. It was a media circus built on nothing more than a misleading frame grab. Now, fast forward to this week. Senator Cory Booker, yes, the same Democrat media darling, is caught making what looks like the same gesture. And suddenly, silence. No headlines, no outcry, no press conferences, no celebrities weighing in. Just crickets. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. Booker made the gesture while addressing California Democrats right out in the open. Now, as you see, I got a video, and it's got Elon Musk on the right, Cory Booker on the left. The exact same thing. But you get idiot Democrat liberals, Keith Overton. Well, you'll see the angle of the dangle, and he had his fingers slightly apart, where Elon Musk kept his fingers together and had him at a right angle to his anus. And Jesus Christ, the math that guy's doing. is just unbelievable. How we allow our media to keep getting away with this? Why they aren't held to a standard? They're complicit in the attack on this country. They are not media. They are not the press. They are the mouthpiece for the DNC. And it's repulsive. The Democrat Party, from top to bottom, is repulsive. They have no platform. They have no real stance except, I hate Trump. But the reaction from the media, a collective shoulder shrug from the same networks that tried to paint Musk as a white supremacist. Why? Because Booker has a D next to his name. Musk dared to criticize the empire we call the Democrat Party. This is how media bias works. It's just not what they say. Damn, Mike Stan. It's what they choose not to cover, not to say. It's what they bury when it doesn't fit the narrative. We played the footage and we've broken down the reaction or lack thereof and compared it directly to the Musk incident. If we had an honest press, this would be front page news, but we don't. What we have is media cartel protecting its own. It just, I got to skip over. I actually already covered this in earlier. How the hell did that happen? My notes are all. Tell Mrs. Reaver to go to bed. And now we have Nadler's office is accused of harboring rioters. Yes. They were hiding rioters. And you can't make this stuff up, even if you tried. A top aide for the Democrat Representative Jerry Nadler was handcuffed after Homeland Security accused Nadler's office of harboring rioters. Oh, it gets... Hang on. I'm trying to pull up. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the video stream. Because we love receipts. We love receipts. Got to jump between screens. And here we go.
No, she did not. That is not what happened.
That is not what happened.
Fuck.
Okay?
What?
Hold on a second.
Give me your contact information right now.
No, I'm going to give you time to speak to you.
Hey.
That's what I'm going to do.
We got you.
No.
I got you.
You're
okay.
I don't have to.
You're okay. You're okay. You're going to be okay.
This is not your office. Hear that woman in the back telling the cop what he's going to do and not do. And this is not your office. And it's not yours, woman. It is the people's office. We pay for that office, not you.
We're here checking on something. We have the right to check. I'm
Can
giving
I see
you.
a warrant?
I'm not resisting.
Stop resisting.
You harboring rioters in the office. So there's not a problem. Let's walk inside. Let's walk through.
For what?
Let me see what's in here.
That's what it's your office.
Let's go. Come on.
You need to stay in
Hold it there.
away from me.
Hold it there.
According to reports, DHS agents confronted Nadler's staff after credible intelligence linked the office to coordinate efforts involving individuals who were part of aggressive, disruptive protests When the aide in question refused to cooperate with federal officers, things escalated quickly. Handcuffs, detainment, and now an investigation that may go all the way to Capitol Hill. For too long, Democrats have gotten away with this. They've protected people who've broken the law for political gains, and nothing happened to them. And they've gotten away with it time and time again. They have created a two-tier justice system. They still think there's a two-tier justice system. They want a two-tier justice system. Guess what? The people are tired of it. You need to be held to the exact same standard we are. Time and time again, you've gotten away with so much. To even go with the saying you got away with murder. Did John F. Kennedy get away with murder? Not John F. Ed Kennedy. Was it Edward? So while Nadler and his colleagues rant about defending democracy, his own office might be enabling street-level lawlessness under the guise of activism. Let's be real. This is what happens when the left flirts with radicals and turns a blind eye to violent rhetoric. And we've seen what happens when they ignore the rhetoric. No, it empowers it and allows it to grow to the point we now have 3 people dead from rhetoric from the Democrat Party. We almost lost a presidential candidate because of the left's rhetoric. And they're always screaming and crying that the Republican Party is the violent party. But I keep seeing the violence coming from the left. And the only thing that they can ever bring up anymore is January 6th. And it was nowhere near as bad as they suggest. It was not on the level of 9/11. It was not on the level of Pearl Harbor. And as more information comes out, it wasn't even as bad as it was made to look. I'm getting tired of the Democrat Party breaking laws and not being held accountable. And I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. They just ought to start arresting people now. No, I understand it takes time. I want justice, not revenge. I want justice. A lot of people are being looked into again. A lot of things that were blown off are being looked into. We got the investigation into the cocaine in the White House reopened. I had a whole segment the other night on the reopening of past cases. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's toward the bottom. PR sues, FBI volunteer evangelists. FBI reopens White House cocaine investigation. The case that vanished into thin air last year is back in the headlines. The FBI is reopening its investigation into cocaine found at the White House, a case that was suspiciously swept under the rug with no suspects, no accountability, and no answers in one of the most secure buildings in the country. Cameras out the yin-yang. In fact, where it was found, there is multiple cameras because, well, that's where they go into a secure facility or room. And let's not forget how bizarre this whole situation was. Cocaine. Yes, cocaine was discovered in one of the most secure buildings on earth, and somehow the story just disappeared. The initial investigation concluded with what can only be described as a shoulder shrug. No leads, no cameras in the West Wing. Bullshit. Now, with public pressure mounting and questions still unanswered, the FBI is reopening the case. So the big question, what changed? Is there new evidence? Did someone inside finally come forward? Or is this a strategic move to control the narrative as election season ramps up? Well, I think it has to deal with we actually got an FBI that's willing to look into things and actually do their friggin' jobs. The DC pipe bombing investigation is back in full swing, and Dan Bonagino actually put out a tweet, I think it was today, and said they're closing in on who it is. There's a couple other investigations that have been reopened. I can't find them. That was a show from last week that I had set up, so I apologize. It is unbelievable. There was this mass stabbing at an Oregon shelter. Bet you didn't hear about that, because they only talk about mass shootings. So let's talk about a story that should be on every front page in America, but barely made a ripple in the mainstream media. In Salem, Oregon, a mass stabbing took place at a Union Gospel Mission shelter, leaving 11 people injured. 11. And yet, where's the national outrage? Where's the press conference? Where's the White House statement even on this? The suspect, now in custody, attacked a group of people seeking help at one of the few places in town dedicated to housing and feeding the homeless. Think about that. A man walked into a facility meant to protect the most vulnerable and turned it into a bloodbath. This weekend wasn't that great because you had, I don't have any updates on it. A car drove into a crowd of people in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I think the last thing I saw, it might have been a medical emergency. But you have mass stabbing in Oregon. You have a firebombing of people in Boulder, Colorado. Let's not sugarcoat what happened. This was a mass act of violence. If the attacker had used a gun, we'd already be neck deep in calls for sweeping legislation. But because the weapon was a knife and the victims weren't politically useful, the corporate media yawns and moves on. And we need to ask, what drove this? Was it mental illness, drugs, ideological motivation? Is there a criminal record? These questions should matter, but they don't to the people who only care about narratives, not justice. The lives of the homeless don't trend on social media unless they fit the right script. This is the consequences of selective outrage. Real people bleed while elites pick and choose who gets to be a headline. Let me see. Well, I'm running out of time here. Let's see where I'm at. That's it. Holy shit, the time blew by. I didn't get through everything. Damn. That's tonight's lineup. Another full throttle dose of lies exposed, corruption confronted, and the hard truths dragged into the spotlight. We've covered everything from elite hypocrisy and media gaslighting to government failures and the quiet war being waged on common sense. But this show isn't just about what I say. It's about what you think. Which segment hit the hardest tonight? Was it the illegal alien tied to a terror attack in Boulder? The blatant double standard over the Booker's Nazi-like salute? Or maybe the explosive hypocrisy of Bono blaming Trump voters for global deaths while sipping champagne in a gated community that I didn't get to? I want to hear from you. What stories do you think the media will bury next? What outrage has your local news already ignored? What stories should we dig into for Friday's show? You can tag me on X at Jersey Joe Talks, drop a comment in live chat, shoot a message through SHR Media. Your voice matters because we're not building an echo chamber. We're building a front line of free thinkers who refuse to be gaslit by the regime. And I want to thank everybody who was in chat tonight. Big E, The Lost Wanderer, The Phantom, just to name a couple. I want to thank you. And if you want more truth without filter, SHR Media has your back. BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, hosted by BZ on Tuesday and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern time. Of course, you have me, Reaver Common Sense, hosted by Jersey Joe. Mondays and Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Edge of Liberty with Sackhead Shaw tonight, Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And that's Monday and Wednesday, but coming up in just over an hour. And Mission Ready Men, hosted by Big E. Earl Jackson, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. noontime on the East Coast. So until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, stay loud. Don't let the noise drown out the truth. This is Jersey Joe, and you've been listening to the Reaver Common Sense on SHR Media, making sense out of the senseless. Have a good night.